Good afternoon. So the Senate GOP has about $5 million on hand for their campaign account, and you've got about $213,000. Walk me through what the trouble is. Why are the Democrats having this sort of trouble raising funds?
I don't think it's trouble raising funds. We're in a minority at this point in time. I think we will be competitive when we run our races in November.
And so Senator Grisanti went from about a 5-1 Democratic enrollment edge to about just north of 2-1. Are you more worried about that seat in particular in terms of being able to capture that back? How do you do that? How do you get that seat back?
Well, we'll get it back by making sure we run a very good candidate, and we run a grassroots candidate. Senator Grisanti's district changed. It was 5-1 Democrat, and it had about 37% minority, and they reduced it to about 5% minority. That's a question that Senator Grisanti is going to have to answer, not so much among the minority population, but the population in this district, meaning that if you're the senator that represents at one point in time 37% minority and is reduced to 5%, what's the problem with that? You should be able to represent all constituencies in your district.
Do you have any candidates in mind yet?
Right now, there are a slew of candidates who would like to run for that seat. But, I always say this. It's one thing I may be outspent, but I won't be outworked. So we have a slew of candidates who are ready, willing, and able to work extremely hard so we can retake that Democratic seat.
So the results yesterday, incomplete as they are, as we wait the paper count, right now has the Republican ahead. Does it worry you, though, that the Republicans are at least putting that seat in play, and that's going to be a seat you're going to have to worry about come the fall, or at least?
That seat was 2008. Obama lost it 60-40. Bob Turner won that seat 60-40. That's a really high-performing conservative Republican district. The former Senator Carl Kruger was able to keep that because he was there, an incumbent senator, for a long period of time, and he worked that district. I believe right now that seat, under the redistricting plan, that seat is eliminated. So our thing is this. We will be competitive and we will win seats in areas that we're not supposed to win. We're going to be extremely competitive. With respect to Brooklyn, I expect us to not only be competitive but to win seats in Brooklyn.
And just shifting to the budget, are the Senate Democrats at the table in these closed door talks with the Assembly Speaker and the Majority Leader and the Governor?
No, we're not at the table.
And why not?
It's three individuals in a room making decisions, and it's how it used to be in the past.
And what's your feeling on that?
I would like for us to be a part of a conversation because the decisions that are made truly impact the way it will affect all our districts. And I would like to be, as a leader, I would like to be at the table to voice my concern about issues that I feel that our conference feels that are very important to the people in the state of New York.
And so the governor signed some lines that by all accounts, favor Republican incumbents in the Senate. Do you think the governor wants the Democrats to be able to take back control of the Senate?
That's a question that you have to ask the governor. I learned in law school I have to deal with the hand that I've been dealt. And the plan that was signed after 32 of my colleagues on this other side, Republicans, including Senator Grisanti, agreed to that in 2012 there would be an independent commission drawing the lines. Obviously, they say one thing when they want your vote and did another thing when they actually got your vote. The word is no good. And that's one thing people have always said about elected officials, is that elected officials' words is no good. They say one thing and they absolutely do another thing. I think that was a total disrespect to all the people in the state of New York. When you sign a pledge, you didn't voice your agreement to the pledge, but you actually took time, signed that pledge, and said you want an independent commission to draw these lines. and then to basically reverse your position in midstream because the circumstances changes. How is the public supposed to trust elected officials saying one thing and absolutely doing another when circumstances change? We're not here in politics for self-promotion. We're here to represent the constituency, Democrat, Republican, irrespective of any political affiliation.
So forget trying to read the governor's mind. Has he done anything that would make it indicate to you that he supports the Democrats taking back control?
That's something that once again you have to ask the governor. My concern is my conference and making sure we put ourselves in the best position to regain the majority. Once again, remember when we lost the majority in 2010, we lost by under 1,000 votes, and a year in which Republicans did extremely well. This year, the president is on the ballot. We were in a fight in a district in Brooklyn, which Republicans trend Republicans 60-40, but we will. At the end of the day, we will be victorious in that. And there's other districts throughout the state which I believe that we will win those races. And with respect to the plan, I equate that to football. Philadelphia Eagles on paper last year they had the best team. They were stocked. They had everything, every position and everything. But they didn't win the Super Bowl. They were a 2-1 favorite to win the Super Bowl. It's one thing on paper, to have everything intact, but it's another thing to execute. And my thing is, you have to execute, and we're going to execute the plan to win.
Well, so describe then the mood. Just a couple more questions on the governor, because I think it's important because a lot of your members are pretty mad with him after what happened last week.
Members are disappointed with the governor, but hey, that's part of politics. We're not going to agree all the time. We're not going to agree all the time. We're going to disagree. One of disappointment, but we'll get over it.
This is a pretty big issue. This is a once a decade, this is political future of your party in the Senate kind of stuff. It's kind of a big issue.
Hey, we've been dealt a hand. We have to deal with it, and we're not going to cry over spilled milk. We're just going to do what we have to do and win those seats.
So, how often do you and the governor speak?
I haven't spoken to the governor in about 2 weeks.
Do you believe, and this is the last question on this topic, do you believe there's some sort of national political equations going on in his position as it relates to the Senate in some way?
You're asking me to read what's in the governor's mind, and that's something you have to ask the governor.
But do you expect him to endorse Senate Democrats, or?
The governor's a Democrat, and I expect him to endorse Democrats.
And then finally, so the state budget train's about to leave the station.
You sure it didn't leave yet?
Yeah. What do you fear will not be a part of this
budget?
Man.
That's a joke.
What do you fear will not be a part of this budget plan?
Well, issues of microstamping, reproductive rights. We're talking about the DREAM Act. We're talking about, even in the budget, dealing with a moratorium on hydrofracking. I really want to see we talk about economic development, helping small businesses. One of the biggest things with small businesses is, I guess creating a revolving loan account that gives them the access to capital, so they can create these jobs or maintain the jobs, or develop in research and development so they can create even a greater industry later on. And the housing component is extremely important. We want to make sure that the housing continues to grow. And we talk about another important issue is dealing with the health component. We know that there's going to be increases in that area, but when dealing with seniors and making sure dealing with prescription drugs